What's up everybody, my name is Moses Abai and I'm back with another video. So what you've just seen are some of my paintings that I've done with acrylics, of which this video will be talking about that. Well, basically there's a lot to talk about when it comes to acrylics, but today I'm going to just talk about just some basic tips about acrylics and just a few pros and cons and why I love it. So to begin with, acrylic paints are my favorite kind of paints. I love them compared to oils. I also love oil paints, but acrylics are the best, and they're the ones that I've done in most let's say all of the videos that are in my YouTube channel that concerns painting, and it's the same that I use even in my school projects. So basically it's the best paints that I use, and today I'm just going to share with you some few tips and just talk about acrylic paints in general. So as we all know, acrylic paints is water based and it requires water for one to thin it, unlike oil paints that one uses spirits or turpentine, and after using it you can wash it with soap and water. One common advantage with acrylic is it dries faster, unlike oil paints which takes a lot of time to dry. Acrylics dry faster and one can finish multiple projects within a short time. So basically during the painting process we don't have to wait for one layer to dry, then go out, relax a bit, then come back. No, with acrylics you can do multiple layers at once. So another advantage of using acrylics is it can support on its own, unlike other water-based mediums like watercolor. After finishing painting, like for example with watercolor, let's say for example water spills on your painting, it's going to mess up your work. So once the acrylic is dry, it cannot be removed. This is also an advantage because you can paint multiple layers on top of the painting. And let's say for example you finished a painting today, and let's say you're tired and then you forget, then after some weeks you remember you have a painting to finish. You can complete your painting even after some while. So that's an advantage with acrylics. It can support by itself. So another thing with acrylics is it's durable. You don't need to follow those rules like you have to paint a thin layer, a thick layer on top of a thin layer, like the way it happens in oil paints. It's durable and it's easy to use, and you don't need to follow those kind of rules. So it's simple to use. So another thing that I love with acrylics is it saves a lot of time. It dries faster, and for example if you have a project that you're supposed to finish it by next week, then you ship it or you take it to the client or the owner, it dries faster, so it saves you a lot of time. You don't have to wait for it to dry like the way it happens with oil paints. So I'm also going to give you some tips when using acrylic paints. Basically these are just some things that you should consider or take note when you are painting with acrylics. Number one, when you are using acrylics, always try to have a spray bottle or a brush with water where you can spray or sprinkle the acrylic paints on the palette, so that cannot dry quickly, because as you know acrylic paints, they dry very fast and we don't want our paints to go waste. So you can have a spray bottle, or you can take your brush, then dip it inside your container with water, then sprinkle it on your palette with acrylics. So another tip when using acrylics, try to have a container full of water by your side, so that when you finish using a certain brush you can dip it inside, because you know the acrylics do dry faster, so they can dry on your brush and ruin them. So always try to have a container of water by your side, so that when you finish using a certain kind of brush, you can dip it inside it. So another tip is, don't use too much water when you are painting with acrylics. This is because it may lose the quality of the paint. Just use enough water or less water. Don't over dilute or mix. This is not like watercolors where you use washes. Just enough water, or just less water is enough. So another tip is, when you're using acrylics, try to squeeze enough or less paint on your palette. This is basically because it dries very faster and you don't want to waste some of it. So just try and squeeze enough paint or less. Also, another tip, after finishing using your brushes, use water and soap to clean off your brushes. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. It was just a brief explanation of acrylic paints, and if you'd love me to do more on other topics, comment down on the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.